So good morning. So in the previous classes, we have discussed about the interfaces. So in that we have seen the declaration as well as the implementation of an interface. And then we have seen the another concept, lambda function. So in general, interfaces can be implemented by a class. Implemented by a class. That means an interface consists of some methods, abstract methods. That means the method has no definition. The method definition can be implemented in a class. We need a class to implement that abstract methods. So there is another way in recent versions of Java, that is Java SE8. After Java SE8, there is a concept called lambda function. That means lambda expressions. So by using the lambda expressions, we can define the method whenever we require. While creating the object, we can define the method in the object declaration itself. So that facility is known as lambda functions, that lambda expressions. So the syntax is, what is the syntax for lambda expression? How do you implement the lambda expression? So the syntax is parenthesis. So within that parenthesis, we can have the parameters or arguments. That means variables, int a comma int b. So if you want to pass the any parameters, means the parameters must be included within this parenthesis. So if you don't have any parameters to pass, we can give the empty braces, empty parenthesis. Then lambda symbol, lambda operator. So the lambda operator is hyphen. So what is the lambda operator? So this is the lambda operator, arrow mark, hyphen greater than or equal to. So this is the lambda operator. So braces, lambda operator, then we have the body. So the body is encapsulated with flower braces. The body is encapsulated with flower braces. So let us see the syntax here once. Braces, lambda symbol, and then within that we have the body. So the body means either printf statements or any scanf statements. So this is the syntax for defining the lambda function. So this is a lambda function. So if you have any parameters, means we can pass the parameter like this, a. So if you don't declare any data type for a, means we can declare a. So if you want to pass any parameter, means another parameter means int b. If you want any some double c, so like that we can pass any number of parameters. So within this brace, we can have any number of lines. That means line 1, next line 2, next line 3. That means any number of statements. So any number of statements can be included within the body of the lambda function. In general, lambda function can have either 2 or 3 statements, not more than 3 or 4. So, but there is no limitation to give the fixed number. That is, it must be single line, it must be 2 lines, like that. There is no restriction here. So we can have any number of statements. So why? Because we have the flower braces here. So everything can be encapsulated with the flower braces. So we don't have the restriction for that. So this is the simple syntax to illustrate the lambda functions. So lambda functions are used in the functional interfaces. So functional interfaces, that means if, every interface can have the abstract method. Every interface must have the abstract method. So that abstract method must be implemented by using the class. So without class also we can implement the interface methods. Without class also we can implement the interface methods. So the interface methods can be implemented by using the lambda functions. by using the lambda functions, we can implement the interface methods. That means abstract methods. So abstract methods can be implemented by using the lambda function. So while creating an object, we can implement the lambda function. So this can be implemented by using the by creating an object. How do we create an object? Class name or interface name. Suppose the interface name is inter1. The interface name is inter1. So the object name is obj1 is equal to lambda function. Is equal to lambda function. So this is how you can implement the lambda function. So the lambda function, entire lambda function can be assigned to an object. The object is of type some interface, any interface or any class. You can have the class name or interface name here. So in general, we have class name, object name is equal to new class name. So that is the syntax. So if you want to define the method whenever you require, we will use the lambda functions. So this is the syntax for using the lambda function. So everyone clear about the lambda function? So lambda function is useful for the interfaces, for defining the abstract methods. So if you want to define any interface method, any abstract method, we need a class. We are creating one class student implements interface one. The class has to be implemented by that interface must be implemented by that class. So we are creating another class to implement that abstract method. So this is the extra burden for the programmer as well as compiler. So that's why these lambda functions are introduced in the Java SE8 versions. So this is the basic things we have discussed so far. Also, we have seen the nested interfaces also, and also we have seen the static methods as well as default methods. That means we can have the abstract method definition at the interface itself. If you want to define the method, then we will use the keyword default or static. So if you keep the keywords default or static, so then you can implement the abstract method in the interface itself. So that facility is available for the programmers after the Java SE8 versions. So Java SE8 is the standard version. So in that version, so many new features are added into the package. So this is the things regarding the interfaces. And then there is a concept called annotations. So next concept is annotations. So in today's class, we will discuss the annotations. So annotation, what do you mean by annotation? In general English, annotation. What do you mean by annotation? What do you mean by annotation? So annotation is nothing but just like a comments. So in Java, we have commenting. So how do you, there are two types of commenting in Java, single line commenting and multiple line commenting. So single line commenting means we can use the symbol. We can use the symbol double slash. So if you write anything after the double slash, that can be treated as comment. That means the compiler cannot read this line. So this can be useless for the compiler. The compiler cannot read this line. So in the programs we have written some comments. So these are called as comments. The compiler cannot read these lines. So those things are known as commenting. So there are another way of commenting also. So another way of commenting also, that type of commenting is known as annotations. So annotation means this is also like commenting, but the compiler can read the comments. The compiler can read the comments, or the runtime environment can read the comments. So there is a meaning for that. So there is a meaning for using the annotations. So commenting and annotations are different. So commenting means simple. The comment lines cannot read by the compiler. But if you use the annotation means the annotations can be read by compiler as well as at the runtime environment also, JVM also. So there is a much difference between annotations as well as commenting. So commenting are very simple, but annotations has, we can define the annotations. Annotations have two types: user defined annotations as well as predefined annotations. We have two types of annotations. That means we can comment, we can tell the compiler. Commenting means we are the programmer for understanding purpose, he can write the comments. For understanding the for understanding purpose, human understanding, we can write the comments. But annotation means for compiler understanding. Annotations for compiler understanding or JVM understanding. So we are writing the annotations for compiler. That means to reduce the errors or to reduce the warnings, to tell the compiler this is this one. So this is the superclass method. This is the subclass method. Like that we can comment on this. So the compiler, suppose for example, take the method overriding. So in inheritance, we get the method override. That means same method name, same parameter list, same return type, say everything is same. That means the compiler has to distinguish between these two. Same method, same parameters, both are similar. So which one has to execute? So the compiler gets the ambiguity. The compiler gets the ambiguity. So then we will tell the compiler. We will make the compilers work very easy. So we will write the subclass method as override or something, some annotation, some comment line. So the compiler can understand that. So this is a subclass. So this is the superclass. So then I have to execute the superclass or I have to execute the subclass. So there is a much advantage by using the annotations. Just like a commenting, but the compiler has to understand. For the compiler understanding purpose, we are using these annotations. To make the compilers work very easy, we are using the annotations. So if you use any annotations means we will get the less number of errors or less number of warnings also. If you get any warnings, the warnings can be eliminated by using the annotations also. So this is the basic things regarding the annotations. So let us see some theory about it. So after, in general, annotations are introduced in Java 5 version itself. Java 5 version itself. So complete annotations are implemented in Java 6. After Java 6, annotations concepts are officially introduced. Java 6. So in Java 8, Java is, whenever you read something, you will get the Java 8. That means this is the very, very standard edition. Java classification or Java packages can be understand before the Java SE8, after the Java SE8. That means so many methods are included at the Java SE8 version. So many features, so many packages are included in the Java SE8 version. So before that versions, there are some limitations for Java. So to expand the Java to develop the Java and use the very user-friendly environment in Java SE8, there are so many features are included. So that features are very, very essential in the real-time applications. So next one, syntax for annotation. So how do you identify this is the syntax, this is the annotation? So how do you identify? So if you get at the rate symbol, so every annotation starts with the at the rate. So every comment line starts with the double hash or slash star. So every annotation starts with either double slash or slash asterisk. Every annotation starts with the @ symbol. So if you identify, if you check the any program, if you identify the @ symbol, that it means that it is an annotation. It is an annotation. So this is the identification of annotation. For example, so there is a predefined annotation, that is override. Override. This is the predefined annotation available in Java. So that means, so while writing the programs in Java inheritance, we will get the superclass as well as the subclass, base class and subclass. So base class methods and subclass methods are same, exact. So then compiler cannot differentiate this one. So if you tell the compiler that this is the override method, then the compiler's work is very easy. So that's why we will use the annotation @override. @override. So this is the predefined annotation. This is the predefined annotation. @override. So we can have the space. In general, we don't use any space between the @ and annotation name. So this is the annotation name. We can call this a annotation name, identifier, like identifier, @ some identifier, some name. Class, so we can have the class space class name, student or inter1, interface 1, like that we are giving the names. So likewise, we have the annotation name. We can call this as annotation name, @ annotation. So here annotation is override. That means, so this is a method overriding. That means the method is already there in the superclass. Then compiler understand that. So we have the package. If you want to use this method, means this annotation, means this is a predefined annotation. So all these predefined annotations are defined in Java language package. Java language package. Java. 1 minute. Import Java dot. We can use the util package. Likewise, we have the another package, language package. Java dot language dot. Here the class is annotation. Annotation. So if you want to use these methods, we have to import the package. That package is lang package. So in that lang package, we are using the annotation, ANNOTATION, annotation. So this is the package, annotation package. So you can use the predefined annotations as well as user defined annotations also. We can define our own annotations. So let us see that also. We can see that syntax also. So before that, let us check the benefits of annotation. So what are the advantages of using the annotations? So first one, it provides useful information to the compiler for detecting the errors. So if you use any annotations, means we are giving some extra information for the compiler. So the compiler gets the extra information regarding that program. So then the compiler's job is reduced. That means compilers, if the compiler gets any ambiguity, it throws the warning or error. So that can be minimized here. If you use the annotations, that can be minimized. So it leads to the information may also use it for suppressing the warnings. So if you by using that, we can reduce the number of warnings also. If you get any larger program, we may get some warnings. So that may be reduced when you use the these annotations. So the annotations may be used for generating the XML code. So we can generate the XML code by using the annotations also. We can the forward engineering and reverse engineering. If you have the design means the design is converted into the code. If you have the code means that code is converted into the design. That may be possible. So by if you use the annotations means by using that annotations we can generate the XML code. XML code means HTML code, like a HTML code. So annotation may be retained by another annotation for processing at runtime. So annotation lifetime, that means if you create any annotation means how much time the annotation retains with the program. Suppose if you create any object or any variable means the variable has some scope, some lifetime. That means till the end of the program or till the end of the class or till the end of the package. Like that we are giving the access permissions also. So likewise, if you create any annotation, so what is the lifetime of that annotation? That means what is the retention? Retention means how far the annotation can alive, up to the class or up to the compile time, up to the execution time. So we have so many options in this. We can retention while creating the annotation. We can give the retention. That means the annotation can retain up to the execution of the program, or the annotation can retain up to the compile time of the program. Like that, we can have the clear differentiation. That we can call it as retention. Then it can carry metadata up to runtime. So we can have the runtime. That means for up to the execution, we can have the annotation. Annotations can alive up to the runtime also, compile time also, runtime also. So these are the some advantages of benefits of annotations. So these are some examples, user-defined annotations examples. Let us check the syntax for it. So annotation can be user-defined annotation can be defined by using the interface. By using the interface. By using the interface, we can have the, you can define the annotations. So let us check the method. So an annotation with no method is declared. That means in general, an interface consists of either variables or abstract method. Here, annotation means it's just like an interface. It's just like an interface. The interface consists of abstract method. Here also same. The annotation consists of a method, an abstract method. So let us check the syntax. So every annotation starts with the at the rate symbol. So interface is a keyword. My annotation is an annotation name, and then body, and then body. Suppose, for example, let us see this example. Interface, I'm defining an interface. In general syntax for creating an interface. So this is the syntax. Interface, inter1. In this we have the method int display enter. So this is the general syntax for interface. So this is the general syntax for interface. So if you want to perform annotation means if you want to create some annotation means we can create by using the at the rate symbol. At the rate interface name, same syntax is same. If you don't have any method, we can give the empty also. So this is the annotation. This is the creation of annotation. So in this body, we don't have any method. So empty annotation, empty method, no method. This annotation has no method. So this annotation has one method display. So this is the syntax for creation of an annotation. We have to use the at the rate symbol. We can create the annotations with the help of interface. With the help of interface. Let us check another example. At the rate, interface is a keyword. Interface name is my n. So within that, I am creating one method int value. So this is the interface. So here the thing is, the method is treated as the field, that means a variable. So here method is treated as, here method is display. So this method is treated as some attribute, that means some value, some variable. So this is very important here. This can be, the method can be treated as a value, a field. The method is treated as field and may be assigned a default value. We can assign the default value also. So in general, in switch case, we have the default method. That means if all the conditions are false, then default method will be executed. So likewise, we can have the default value also. So let us check the syntax. At the rate interface name. I'm creating the method into value. I'm giving the method default value as default. I am using the keyword default space the value name, constant value 0, 1, 2, 3, anything. Default 0. That means here in general the method means the method can execute some code. The method can execute some code, but here in annotations the method means simply a variable. We can treat the method as a variable or an attribute. We can simply say that it is a field. Field means x equal to 10, x equal to 20, x equal to 30. So the field value may be 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, anything. So we can treat that method as a variable. That means it can have some value. The method can return some value. The method can return some value now. Return a into b. That means 10 into 20, 30. The method returns the value 30. So likewise, here the method can be treated as a variable. The method can store some values 10, 20, 30, 40. So this is the concept of creation of an annotation. So this is the syntax. So let us check some. So let us check a simple program here. So here we are using the override annotation. So in the inheritance concept, we will use the override annotation. Let us check this program. So I am defining the class XX. So the class has some method display. So I am creating the another class YY. So it extends the properties from XX. That means same method, public void display. Same method we are using. Same method again we are using. So then we can use the override. That means it means that compiler can differentiate these two methods. So this is a override method. The compiler can understand that this is a overridden method. Then class ZZ extends the properties from XX. Same public void display, same method again used. Before that, we can write the override. So this is how we can use the annotations, override. So check the syntax here. I'm this one. Interface myAnno. I'm creating an interface myAnno. So here I am defining three methods. Int value 1, int value 2, string value 3. I'm giving the three methods here. So here method can be treated as some value. That means it can have some default value. So default 10, default 0.0, default empty string. We can have the default values in the annotation. So this is the some syntax for creation of an annotations. So we can assign the values for the method also. That means, so we are treating this method as some attribute. So attribute means some field. We are treating that as some field. The field means the field consists of some partitions, some fields. This is field 1, field 2, field 3, field 4. We have 4 fields. That means we have 4 values, 4 values for the this method value. This method value. So here the method can be treated as some variable, some field. So for this we have the default value as 0. We can assign the values for this value 1, value 2 also. We can assign the values for this method also. So this can be possible by this one. So in order to implement this one, we need a class. In order to implement this one, we need a class. So I am creating the class no values. So in that, I am using the annotation to annotation. So this is the annotation name to anno. This is the annotation name. So that's why I am giving the @ to anno. Within that, I am giving the values. Within that, I am defining this method. That annotation to annotation is implemented by using the class here. Here I am assigning the values for the value 1 method. So value 1 is equal to 100. Value 2 is equal to 20.45. Like that, some public static void, some method, other method. We can have other methods also. Here main thing is we can assign the values for this methods also. We can assign the values for this methods also. This can be possible by using this syntax. So this is an interface. In general, this is an interface. So to implement an interface, we need a class. So I am creating the class. Within that, I am going to define this one. Define this value 1, value 2. For this, I am using the syntax like this. @to anno. @to anno. So here I am assigning value 1. Method name is value 1. Value 1 is equal to 100. Method name is value 2. Value 2 is equal to 20.45. So this is how you can assign the values. So we are giving another method, method 1. So this value 1 and value 2 are accessing this method 1. The method 1 accesses the value 1 value 1 as well as value 2 method. That's why some other method we are created. So this is the basic things in creation of an annotations, user-defined annotations. So next one, retention policy. Retention policy. That means it means that retention, how far the annotation can be valid, how far the annotation can be valid. So that is known as retention. So we can give the retention by using the retention @retention annotation. @retention annotations. We have 3 types of annotations. Retention levels, source, so we have 3 types of retention policies. The first one is source retention policy, class retention policy, runtime retention policy. It means that if you give the retention policy as source, means with this retention policy, the annotation is retained in the source file and is discarded at the compile time. That means it's just like a comment that cannot be treated by the compiler. So that type of annotations are known as, that type of annotation retention policy is known as source. That means the annotation can be treated as comment lines. That is source. Then class level, then runtime level. So the retention policy, if you give the retention policy as class means uh, the annotation is valid till the compilation level. Till the compilation level. That means a class file is generated, dot class file. So up to this, the annotation is valid. The annotation is retained up to the class level, up to the creation of the class. Next, runtime. The annotation, if you give the policy as runtime, then the annotation is valid till the execution of the program. Till the execution of the program. So for example, at the rate retention, the method is retention policy dot runtime. Retention policy dot runtime. Or we can give the retention policy dot class. Retention policy dot source. We can give anything. That means this annotation, my annotation can be retained up to the execution of the program. We can give the level of scope also. That means validation also. The annotation is valid till the compile time, till the execution time, till the writing the program. Like that, we can differentiate the things. So this is the syntax for retention. At the rate retention, retention policy dot runtime. Retention policy dot runtime. So this is the retention policy. And then predefined annotations. So predefined annotation, that means we have so many annotations. Among that, override, at the rate override, predefined one, at the rate retention. So like that, at the rate deprecated, at the rate documented, at the rate encrypted, and at the rate functional interfaces. So at the rate functional interfaces, lambda functions. If you use any lambda functions, we can use the functional interfaces. So at the rate not null. So like that, we have these so many predefined annotations. So these are the available predefined annotations. So we have another annotation at the rate target. At the rate target. That means when a user construct the own annotation. So in the previous slides, we have seen the creation of our own annotations. At that time, we can use the at the rate target. So it is better to tell the compiler about its target elements. That means target elements means target methods, abstract methods. The targets can be described in the application is illustrated. That means it has two fields, method as well as field. Method as well as field. So the syntax for it is, let us see the syntax for it. If you use any target annotation, at the rate target, this is the syntax. This is the syntax. At the rate target, element type dot method or element type dot field. Element type dot method or element type dot field. So this is the syntax for using the target annotation. Target annotation. So these are the some basic methods used in the target elements. It can be treated as some target elements here. Element type dot annotation type. Element type dot constructor, field, local variable, method, packages, parameter type. So we have so many target types here. Element type dot some method name. We can have the method name. We can have some field name. Suppose X element type int dot X. Like that, we can have so many target elements. So whenever if you use our own annotations, we can give the target annotation also. So next, class method. Class method. That means, so there are so many classes in the Java packages. So there is a class method. Here class name is method. Here class name is method. So we have so many classes, predefined classes, arrays. Arrays is a one predefined class. Object is a predefined class. So like that, we have the class method. We have the predefined class method. Method is a class name. So that is defined in the package java.language, java.language.reflect, java.language.reflect. So in this, so there is an in this package, there is an interface called member, and there are some other classes. There are some other classes also. So let us see the syntax for it. Public, final, class, method. Class name is method, which extends the some interfaces, some other classes, and implements the some interface as well as the member. Member here, member is an interface. So this is a predefined class. This is a predefined class in the language package. So we have the class name as method. So it has so many methods. So if you define any predefined class, means the class can have so many methods. So these are the available methods. So these are the available methods: hash code, get modifiers, get default values, get declaring class. Like that, we have so many methods. So there are some other methods also. Get annotations, set accessible, is accessible, set accessible, and then is annotation present. That means if you write any program, so in that program, and if the annotation is available or not, to check that annotation is available in that program or not, we have the method is annotation present. So like that, we have so many predefined methods. So we have so many predefined methods in the method class. So this is all about the annotations. So this is all about the annotations. So we have, in today's class, we have seen the annotations. Annotation is nothing but an commenting at the compiler level. We are commenting for the compiler, for the purpose of compiler. In general, commenting is for the purpose of programmer. So now we are commenting for the purpose of compiler. So there are two types: user-defined annotations as well as predefined annotation. So predefined annotations are exist in the package language.annotations. So we have so many annotations: at the rate override, at the rate target, at the rate functional interface. Like that, we have so many predefined annotations. So you can define our own annotation also by using the interface, at the rate interface. If you identify any at the rate symbol, it means that it is an annotation. You can easily observe that if you find any at the rate symbol in the program, so it is an annotation. You can treat this as annotation. So we can user can define its own annotations also. So then retention policy, we have seen the retention policy. That means how far the annotation is useful for the user, compile level or runtime level. And then we have seen some examples also. So this is all about the annotations. So, and then restrictions on annotations. So there are some restrictions on annotations. So let us check. The annotation can have only methods as their members. So annotation, user-defined annotation can have methods. The annotation cannot have any constant values. We have in interface can have constant value or an abstract method. So in annotation, if you define any annotation, the annotation must have a method, not a value, constant value. So that is one restriction. The methods have no parameters, no body. So the methods declared in the annotation cannot have any body, cannot have any return type, cannot have any parameters. It can have return type. The methods can have no parameters and no body. The method cannot have any definition in anywhere in the program. Anywhere in the program, the method cannot pass the parameters also. This is some restriction. then the methods can return values. The methods can return values either primitive or some non-primitive also. The methods cannot have any throw classes. So the methods cannot have any throw class. That means throws exception. So like that we have throws keyword. That means in exception handling we can have try, catch, blocks. So if you use that exception means the method which we have defined in the annotation cannot be the part of the throws class. That is some restriction. The annotation cannot extend another annotation. So annotations cannot have inheritance property. And one annotation cannot have another annotation property. So each annotation has its own properties. One annotation cannot inherit the properties from another annotation. That is the one limitation. Next, default value to the methods may be declared. So the default has to be declared in the creation of an annotation. We have given the annotation int value 1. After that, we have used the keyword default 0, default 1. Like that, we have to give the default values for the annotation. So there are some restrictions for annotations. So also we have seen some benefits for annotation. Also we are seeing the restrictions also. We have some limitations for the annotations. So this is all about the annotations. So do you have any doubts regarding this? So this is the end of the third unit. So third unit consists of three things: arrays, inheritance, and then interfaces. So this is the end of third unit. So next we are left with two chapters. Next chapter is packages and then exception handling. So that is the fourth unit, packages and exception handling. So do you have any doubts regarding this? We can revise it in the next class. So okay, thank you.